as you guys know, there have been a lot of talk about the X-Men Dark Pheonix movie. There's been talk of reshoots, like people acting like reshoots aren't a common thing, and everybody's getting all up in arms that there was reshoots, not realizing that the New Mutants movie and X-Men Dark Pheonix, the two kind of lead actors, are both on Game of Thrones and filming Game of Thrones. So of course the reshoots are going to push those movies, X-Men Dark Pheonix and New Mutants, back, because those two actresses have to film Game of Thrones, and that takes a long time. So before you guys get so out of control, up in arms about it, just know that, please, and relax, calm down.
Thanks.
So we got a release date for Dark Phoenix. We've known it's coming out February 14th, which I think is a smart idea for it to come out in February, because it was coming out in November, but I feel like November is packed, the same way December is packed. So I feel like it was a very smart move to move it to February. So last night the Dark Phoenix trailer dropped. And personally, I think it was a good trailer. I liked the trailer, and I liked it for this reason. And I see the comments online, and I'm gonna get to that. And I see people what they're saying. Oh, it just looks like X3. Da da da. All right, people, relax. But what I will say is, just like I said about the Captain Marvel trailer, I'm going to say about this. We're going to get our space stuff. And if you didn't watch the trailer, watch closely, there is a quick scene in the trailer of them going into space and Jean lighting on fire in space. So we're going to get that Dark Phoenix story where she gets her Dark Phoenix from space, I believe. But they're not going to show that in the first fucking trailer, people. Mm-hmm. Please know that. This is the first. This wasn't even a teaser trailer to announce anything. It was the first X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer. Now, this is how the internet community is. It's really ridiculous. They would have been upset if this trailer showed too much. But now they're upset because it didn't show enough. What do you want from the first trailer? I don't understand. Now, I will, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Preston. I will say it was pretty obvious. I do know in the Phoenix story that everyone knows that Jean Grey's supposed to die. And that's one thing they did in X3. We're not going to really talk about that movie because it was trash. But there was a scene of you see Beast, you see Scott in black, you see a funeral, you see somebody buried. I don't think that's Jean. I personally think that's Mystique. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Beast that you see, because there's a scene that you see in the trailer where Beast is standing with Magneto. By the way, that island that Jean went to go visit Magneto, that's Genosha, people. That's the island of Genosha, for any X-Men fans that know that's the island of Genosha. But that's what I think, personally. But we see a side where there's Professor X, Cyclops, Storm. Yeah, Jean's not there, but she's evil now, so why would she? And then there's a scene, and then on the other side, you see Beast, you see Magneto, you see two other mutants that we're probably going to meet in the movie. So, what do you think, besides the fact that Professor X has had to put blockers into Jean's mind to make her pretty much, to suppress her other side and to pretty much make her forget about she being the one to kill her parents. What would, after the first three movies that we've seen, what would be the reason for Beast to join Magneto? He loves Mystique. He loves Raven. So, personally, I think Jean is going to kill Mystique. Mm-hmm. And that's why in certain parts of the trailer, you do not see Mystique. Mm-hmm. And there is a scene in the trailer of Beast in his Beast form crying, holding someone blue with red hair. I think it's pretty obvious that's Mystique. So I don't think Jean's gonna die. I think something's gonna happen to where that we saw Jessica Chastain's character. Now they're saying that she's not Lalandra, which I kind of believe that they're trying to throw us off. I think she is Lalandra, and I think what's going to happen towards the end of this movie, because I've heard rumors that this movie is supposed to be a two-parter. So I think the reason why we don't see Jean in certain scenes, like in that scene that I talked about, I think she's going to end up being taken into space because she's so dangerous. And I think the fact that and another reason that would make Magneto be against Charles again is Mystique dying, because we know Magneto really cares about her. So, and as you see in the trailer, this is all Professor X's fault. Everything that's happened with Jean, they're portraying in the trailer as all his fault. Everyone's blaming him for what happened and what he did. So that's my take on the trailer. That's what I think. Oh, one more thing I will say. I know there's a lot to digest, Preston. One more thing I will say. That's kind of annoying me. I watched a couple of trailer reactions. A couple of people talk about how Magneto is so flip-floppy. One movie he's on the good side, one movie he's on the bad side. And I'm starting to think, and I thought to myself, what fucking movies have y'all been watching? There's only been one movie that I can think of that Magneto was on the evil side, and then at the end went to the good side. And X-Men Apocalypse is the only movie in my head. Because in X-Men First Class, we all know the story that Magneto, what he went through, meets Professor X, joins Professor X, but when he joins Professor X, he didn't suppress that side of him. He still did not like humans. And what we saw in First Class was an origin story of him becoming Magneto. In Days of Future Past, he never went to the good side. I never saw that man go to the good side. At all. Like, I don't know what movie y'all was watching, but he never went to the good side. He was trapped in a prison. Once he escaped, he used Professor X for what he wanted to do. What he had planned. So, in Apocalypse, when he was one of the Four Horsemen, and at the end of the movie, he basically turned not good, but worked with everybody. But that's the only time I've seen that. In the 3 X-Men movies with the other Magneto, the other Professor X, he was never good. He was bad throughout all those movies. He was never good. So this notion that he's been flip-floppy, I don't understand that. I've only seen one X-Men movie. One. Where you can say he flip-flopped. So it's either people don't remember the other movies or just fucking stupid. Either way, but anyway, about the trailer and everything, what do you think?
All right, so the trailer. I actually like the trailer a lot. I love the fact that they're using the classic X-Men outfits for the film. That was very surprising to me. I love that a lot, and I agree with you. I think that in this film that Phoenix is actually going to kill Mystique. And watching the trailer over and over, I feel like the scene where Mystique dies is actually, and I have a theory as to how it's going to happen. It's the part where she's in the front of the X-Jet and they're in space, and then Phoenix flames go everywhere. And if you notice on that part, you watch that part of it, and you see that Professor X sees exactly what Mystique sees as far as the flames coming towards the X-Jet. I think at that point, Mystique is, and this is just a theory, this is nothing that I heard, that somehow Professor X is going to use Mystique to try to speak to Jean Grey in her mother's voice. She's going to use Jean Grey's past of her mother's voice and try to use Mystique to kind of manipulate her voice to talk to her, to stop her from being whatever way she is, because the Dark Pheonix is obviously taking over. And with that happening, and her probably figuring out that Professor X is the one trying to get her to kind of like calm down, she's probably just gonna like go crazy and send all those flames towards the jets. And I don't know if you remember in the trailer, you see Nightcrawler and 2 other people holding hands and they disappear. I think they're gonna find a way to enhance his power to get to the ship and try to grab as many people as possible. But the flame is gonna happen so fast where it hits Mystique, but it doesn't affect other people. So when they bring her back to Earth, she's gonna be affected, and she's probably gonna be the one that dies from that. So I think that's how she's gonna die from that. And I agree that Mystique is gonna die. And as far as Lalandra, I've heard some things that is her. Other people have said that it's not. That they say it's a new character named Smith or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that it might be a scroll.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, so, but
I heard a bunch of things about that, and I'm hoping it's Lalandra. If it's not, if it's a new mutant that they've never used before, I don't mind that at all. But the interesting thing about this film is obviously everyone trusted Professor X. Like you said, that he suppressed Jean's memory of her parents and most likely lied to her about the fact that it was her powers that killed her parents. And with Jean feeling betrayed by them, that's probably going to push her over to go to Magneto because, the last thing you need is someone who kind of talked to you and convinced you to join him and saying that he's here to help you to find out he's been lying to you the whole time. And with that being said...
You heard that line Magneto said. You didn't come here for... What did he say? You didn't come here for...
for permission?
You didn't come here for... advice or help. You came here for permission.
Exactly. And that's going to be Magneto's thing where he's going to flip it on people. And remember, Professor X has told a lot of people that their problems, their powers aren't their issue. They're not diseased. They don't have issues. Mystique isn't ugly. She's beautiful in her normal form. He said stuff about Beast. And what you said, with Beast being in love with Mystique and all of them feeling betrayed, it's going to be Professor X trying to rebuild his trust with people, and his he's no longer honorable because it looks like he just lied to people to get them to work under him. So at the end of the day, I think the trailer is really good. I don't really know what these people are really complaining about when it comes to this trailer.
It's the first trailer, bro. I don't understand, bro. It's the first trailer, and I guess you could see in some beats of the trailer it's a little bit like Last Stand, but of course it's going to be because they're telling the same fucking story, except they took out the bullshit thing, the bullshit side story that made no sense about the mutant cure and all that bullshit, which took the movie down, and everything. But
I don't know why they're still. I mean, I understand the comparisons, but I don't understand why they're worried about what's like the X3 because it doesn't really matter. It's different directors, a better cast of actors, in my personal opinion. So this movie's going to be way better than what X3 was. They probably learned from that debacle. So,
and boy, Sophie Turner looks really good.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
She looks like she's going to do a very, very good job. Yeah. And let's not get it twisted, people. I do not care how good Magneto and Professor X are in this movie, because they will be. I don't care how good Beast is. I don't care how good the Ready Player One kid at Cyclops is. This movie will not be great unless Sophie Turner is great.
Yeah, she's a star.
She has to be great, and she has to be very convincing. So I really like the trailer.
I liked it too, man. I don't really have anything to complain about. I don't know where people find the time to complain about certain things like this. Like we got what we wanted. We finally got the Dark Pheonix story being told on screen, which a lot of comic fans been waiting for a long time, and it's being done right. So at the end of the day, great trailer.